Good evening, everyone. Welcome to MJ's Maths and Stats. That's MJ Magic Studio to you. And in this session, every night, 9 o'clock, I'm here on the channel along with you to solve previous years, previous terms, DCS, Ninja, and digital on campus questions along with you. Since this examination is going to knock your door very soon, so be with us every night 9 o'clock 9 p.m. and solve few questions. Hope it will help you out during your examination. On this note, let's begin now. Fair enough, I've started getting answers. Shohini, Shreyoshi, Kajol, Anish, Soumya, Sohini. Perfect. Heinz produces tomato puree by boiling tomato juice. The tomato puree has only 20% water. That means it has got 80% pulp. And tomato juice have got 90% water. That is, it has got 10% pulp. In these kind of question where this water changes, we work with pulp. Because pulp percentage won't be changing, isn't it? How many liters of tomato puree will be obtained from 20 liters of tomato juice? Suppose we have got 20-liter tomato juice, that means pulp here is 10% of 20 liter, that is 2 liters. Now, how much would be the volume of the puree if 80% of that is equals to 2 liter? We are looking out for that. X liter is the volume of tomato puree. 80% of that is equals to 2 liter of pulp that we will get from juice. That's it. This is 4 by 5. X is 10 by 4, 2.5 liter. We will compare pulp with pulp as percentage wise, and this sum become really very easy to solve then. 2.4 liter of tomato puree you will get from 20 liters of tomato juice. 2.5 liters, 2.5 liter. Option C is the answer. Okay, for these kind of questions where x, y are odd and z is even, it is always feasible. Let's pick up any number and then see. X, y are odd, let x is 1, y is 3, and z is even, let z is 2. Then x is square plus y is square is 1 plus 3 square, that is 9 plus 1, 10. And z is square is 2 is square, that is 4. That means 10 into 4 will be 40, and 40 when divided by 8 gives 5. That is an odd number. Now x is odd, let x is 2k1 plus 1, that is an odd number, and y is 2k2 plus 1, that is another odd number, where k1, k2 can be any number. And z is even, that let this be 2k3. Then this is square plus this is square is 4k1 is square plus 1 plus 4k1. Yes, plus 4k2 is square plus 1 plus 4k2. This multiplied by 2k3 whole square, that would be 4 times k3. Now, if I divide this by 8, this 4 will go, we will get 2 here. So we have got 4, 4, 4, 4, and this is 2. That means automatically we can take 2 common. 2 common, it would be 2k1 is square plus 2k2 is square plus 2k1 plus 2k2 plus 1. into k3. Now this 2 will get cancelled out with this 2. Now this is an even number, this is an even number, even plus even is even, even plus even plus even plus even, 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 even. Even plus 1 will be odd. And we know that we have taken this z as even, which is 2k3. Now k3 can be both odd or even. We can take 2, that will be 2 into 1, then k3 is 1, that is odd. We can also take 4, that would be 2 into 2, that is even. So everything depends upon this k3, what is this? But this is odd. Now odd into even, if k3 is like 4, if I take, then this will be converted into an even number. This will be an odd for sure. And then odd into odd, that will be converted into odd. So we have both the instance that either it can be odd or even. Like for instance, if I take z equals to 4, let's see what will happen. X square plus y square is 10, z square would be 16. That would be 160. 160 by 8 will give 20, that is even again. So it can be either even or odd. Option C fits in. All faces of a cube with an 8 meter edge, capital L is 8 meter, the big cube, are painted red. If the cube is cut into smaller cubes of a 2 meter edge, small l is 2, we first need to find the value of n, that is how many small cubes we can have on one edge, that is capital L by small l, that would be equals to 4. Now, how many of the 2 meter cubes have paint on exactly one face? If we know, if this big cube is been cut into smaller cubes, then one face painted cubes are always on the faces of the cubes. So one face painted cubes formula is simply 6 into n minus 2 whole square, because we have got 6 faces, and on each face, if we deduct this cube, this row and this column, formula will become 6 into n minus 2 whole square, where n is equals to capital L by small l. As simple as that. So number of one face painted would be 6 into 4 minus 2 whole square, 2 square, that is 4 into 6 is 24. We will have 24 small cubes with exactly one face painted with red, that is in option A. Now in the same case, we will have 3 face painted cubes, and that will be always 8, that are at the corners. We can have 2 face painted cubes and that are on the edges. How many edges do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That formula would be 12 into n minus 2. And then one face painted, we know those are always on the faces, that is 6 into n minus 2 whole square. And no face painted number of cubes would be n minus 2 whole cube. If we add all this, this will give us n cube, that is total number of small cubes that can be formed. Two vehicles A and B leave from city Y to X. A overtakes B at 10:30. Suppose A overtakes B at this point, M1 or M, at 10:30. This we are talking about A. And reaches city X at 12 p.m. and reaches here at 12 p.m. That means 10:30 to 12 p.m. he have taken 1 hour 30 minutes to travel this distance mx. It waited for 2 hours. That means he again started at 2 p.m. from this point and returned to city Y. On its way, it meets B at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. means 2 hours plus 3 p.m. means 1 hour, after 1 hour, and this is 1.5 hour. So let me keep this point meeting of the second meeting point at N, and this portion Mr. A or vehicle A have travelled in 1 hour and reaches city Y at 5 p.m. So this was 3 p.m. This distance is travelled by him in 2 hours. Now, what next? B reaches city X. Okay, before we start with B, here also he meet B. If we look at the trajectory for B, B was here at 10:30 and then B was here at 3 p.m. So the distance Mn, which is travelled by A, we can have time ratio. This distance Mn is travelled by A in half an hour. And the same distance is travelled by B in 1:30 to 3 means 4.5 hours. That means time ratio is half hour and 4.5 means 9/2. That means time ratio is 1:9. Therefore, their speed ratio should be inverse of time ratio, that is 9:1. We have this now. If the speed of A is, if we take 9 km per hour, then speed of B is only 1 km per hour. Now what is happening with B? B reaches city X. Okay. Waited for 1 hour, that means 1 hour is the halt time, and returned to city Y. After how many hours will B reach city Y from the time A overtook him for the first time? Now we can use this simple time ratio also to find. A took half an hour to travel this distance, B took 4.5 hours. A took 1 hour to travel N and X, then B will take how much time to travel NX? 9 hours. It's clear. Now, this is half hour gone. YM, A took 1.5 hour. Clear? Now, as A have taken 1.5 hour to complete this YM journey, B will take 1.5 hour is 3/2 into 9. That is 13.5 hours to complete this journey. So total time taken by B from point M to reach Y back is Mn, Nx, waiting time, then again Xn, then again Nm, and then again My. Mn is 4.5, Nx is 9 hours, waiting time is 1 hour, Xn is 9 hours, Nm is 4.5, and this is 13.5. 9, 27, 28 plus 13 is 41. 41.5 hours is the time B will take to reach back to Y, starting from point M, moving up to X, halting for 1 hour and coming back. That is in option C. In the polynomial fx equals to 2 into x to the power 4, okay, this is a biquadratic polynomial. In case of biquadratic, if it is a to x to the power 4 plus bx cube plus cx square plus dx plus e equals to 0 if we equate, then sum of roots is given by simply minus b by a, and product of roots is given by minus plus minus plus. Okay, it's given by e by a. Formula to remember. In our case, it is 2x to the power 4 minus 49x square plus 54. That means a is 2, there is no x cube, that means b is 0, and E is 54. So sum of roots would be, yes, what is the question? What is the product of roots and what is sum of roots? Sum of roots would be E by A, that is 54 by 2, 27. Sorry, that is product of roots. Very sorry. Formula, this is a product. And sum of roots would be minus B by A. B is 0, so that would be 0. So answer, product of roots is 27 and sum of roots is 0. 27 comma 0 is the answer. Suppose for this biquadratic equation, 4 roots are x1, x2, x3, x4. Then x1 into x2 plus x1 into x3 plus x1 into x4 plus x2 into x3 plus x2 into x4 plus x3 into x4. That is product of 2 roots taken at a time. That would be given by C by A. And product of roots taken 3 at a time, if we take 4C3 would be out. 4 x1, x2, x3 plus x1, x2, x4 plus x1, x3, x4 plus x2, x3, x4. Product of roots taken 3 at a time is given by minus D by A. Sum of roots minus B by A first, then alter the sign, plus C by A is for sum of product of 2 roots, product of roots taken 2 at a time, then product of 3 roots or product of roots taken 3 at a time minus D by A, and then product of roots taken all at a time, which we call product of roots, as actually this is x1 into x2 into x3 into x4. That is given by E by A. If formula is clear, answer would be there in very few seconds. In the polynomial fx equals to x to the power 5 plus ax cube plus bx to the power 4 plus cx plus d, we know that this is polynomial of degree 5. All coefficient a, b, c, d are integers. If 3 plus root 7 is a root, which of the following must be also a root? We know that product of this polynomial would be given by minus d by a. In case of a here is only 1 and d is this last value. That would be minus d. That means it is rational. It is an integer. And it is a product, and one of the root is 3 plus root 7. That means it need to be multiplied by is rationalizing factor at least, so that when multiplied we get a rational number. And rationalizing factor of 3 plus root 7 is 3 minus root 7, or we can call conjugate root, conjugate surd. If one of the root of polynomial is in like surd format, its conjugate surd is always another root. 3 minus root 7 is the answer. Situational puzzles, many a time you will find TCS Digital, TCS Ninda question paper, maybe like 10-15% of the paper may be filled up with these kind of situational puzzles. There is a lot of speculation that the economy of a country depends on how fast people spend their money in addition to how much they save. Augie was very curious to test this theory. Augie spent all his money in 5 stores. In each store he spent rupees 4 more than 1/2 of what he had when he went in. Entry point, then remaining, then from the remaining he give away 4, and that is the exit point. How many rupee did Augie have when he entered the first store if he is left with nothing after he left the 5th store? These kind of question, if we start by taking x, then half of the x, then minus 4, then again half, minus 4, again half, minus 4, it becomes a long, lengthy process. This should always be calculated with backward solution. How? Exit of fifth store in hand money is 0. Exit is 0. That means 0 plus 4 is the remainder. 4 remains with him after he have given away half of what he had when he had entered. That means half. Now we need to multiply by 2. That is the back process. Whatever is at the exit, in that add 4 and then double it. Whatever he have at the exit, add 4 and then double it. 56, add 4, double it. 120, add 4, double it. As simple as that. He enters the first store with rupees 248. Option A fits in. Okay, a surface question from inequalities. Something is given related to xy. What can be said about the value of y? So 3y plus x is greater than 2. That means x is greater than 2 minus 3y. And here x plus 2y is less than equals to 3. X is less than equals to 3 minus 2y. So what we can have? X is greater than this. That means if I combine these two, 2 minus 3y is less than x, less than equals to 3 minus 2y. If I remove this x, we are left with 2 minus 3y is less than only 3 minus 2y. Minus y is less than 3 minus 2, that is 1. Y is greater than minus 1. If we multiply both sides by minus 1, this inequality sign will also change. So y is greater than minus 1, that is in option B. Again, another one, a situational puzzle type question, which I said earlier also, like many a times they give 2, 3, 4 questions. Something like that, where we need to use more of reasoning. You have been given a physical balance and 7 weights of these many kgs. Keeping weights on one pen and object on another, what is the maximum you can weigh less than 183? So obviously I would be maximizing the weigh if I am taking 78. And it's given that maximum should be less than 183, and these all are numerals. Then let us see that whether we can weight 182 or not. 182 minus 78 would be 104. Now with any combination we get closer to 104. Yes, if I take 50 and 52, then what I'll get is 102 max and not 104. That means 2 kg less than 182 kg. 182 minus 2. Maximum that we can weight in one go, which is less than 183, is 180 kgs with 50, 52 and 78. Option A fits in. A basic question which follows our rule 3 of net changing rule from our rule book. And it says that if any item is first increased by x% and then decreased by x%, then overall change is given by minus x square by 100%. Or if any item is decreased by x% and then increased by x%, then also net change is given by minus x square by 100%. If the price of an item is decreased by 10% and then increased by 10%, that means x is equals to 10, the net effect on the price would be minus 10 square, that is 100 by 100, that is minus 1%. There would be decrease of 1%, a decrease of 1%, that is in option C. How many divisors, including 1 but excluding 1000, are there for the number 1000? Okay, suppose we write our number n as p1 to the power a1 into p2 to the power a2 into p3 to the power a3 and on, where this p are prime factors, that means prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7. Then number of divisors or number of factors which include 1 but exclude the number itself, which include 1 but exclude n, is given by a1 plus 1 into a2 plus 1 into a3 plus 1 minus 1 at the end. So here 1000, how we can write 1000? 1000 is 10 cube, that means n equals to 2 cube into 5 cube. That means number of divisor including 1 but excluding 1000 is given by 3 plus 1 into 3 plus 1 minus 1. 4 into 4, 16 minus 1. We will have 15 of such divisors of number 1000. Option A fits in. Again, a basic surface based question where we can take some integers and try to solve. Which of the following is definitely odd? M is an odd integer, M is 3, and N is even, N is 4. So first one, give 2M is 6 plus 4, 10. That will be an even because it is 10 whatever we multiply. M plus N is square, 3 plus 16, that is 19 into M minus N is square. Okay, that would be 3 minus 13, so it's coming as odd. Third, M is square, 9 plus 16, that is also odd. And fourth, M plus N, that is also odd. Now, which is definitely odd? If I change these values, let's see, M plus N, it is an odd integer and it is an even integer. These things can be even, but M plus N cannot be ever even because M is odd and N is even. I'll go with option D. Again, a surface mathematical reasoning based question. There are 20 balls which are red, blue or green. These three are 20. If 7 balls are green, this is for certain, and the sum of red balls and green balls, that is R plus 7, is less than 13. That means R is less than 6, and since these are balls, these numbers should be a whole number. So at the most, how many red balls are there? At the most, there would be 5 red balls. Option B fits in. I'm wondering how I have given so many surface reasoning mathematical questions in one session. Let's solve, because this is what I have and I'm doing. If n is sum of 2 consecutive odd number and less than 100, that means sum is less than 100, let the 2 consecutive odd number be 2k minus 1 and 2k plus 1. That means 2k minus 1 plus 2k plus 1 should be less than 100. 4k is less than 100, k is less than 25. So highest value of k would be 24. The two values we are looking out for is 48 minus 1, that is 47, and 48 plus 1, that is 49, and total would be 96. What is the greatest possibility of n? The greatest possible value of n is 96. Option C fits in. There are a number of chocolates in a bag. If they were to be equally divided among 14 children, equally, maybe like 2, 2, 2, 2 or 3, 3, 3, 3, there are 10 chocolates left. Suppose there are n chocolates. Can I say n is 14 q1 plus 10, where each children equally divided among 14 children, each children is getting q1 toffees. If there were to be equally divided among 15 children, the same number, there are 8 chocolates left. Now that means n is again equals to 15 q2 plus 8. q1 may be equals to q2. It depends. Obviously, this can be satisfied with if any multiple of 210, because 14 into 15 is 210, thus statement is thus given, are added to the bag. If not given also, then it also hardly matters. What is the remainder when the minimum feasible number of chocolates in the bag is divided by 9? These kind of question can be solved using Chinese remainder theorem. But normally I'll not use Chinese remainder theorem here. I will prepare a video on Chinese remainder theorem where we will take up these kind of question because it's a lengthy process. So here we will try to pick up and put in numbers so that it gets adjusted. Like if I take q2 equals to 2, then it will be 28 plus 10, that is 38. And when 38 is divided by 15, bingo, it leaves remainder 8. That means minimum feasible number of chocolates we are getting when we are doing q1 equals to q2 equals to 2. 28 plus 10 is 38 and 15 into 2 is 30 plus 8 is 38 again. Minimum feasible number of chocolates in the bag are 38. Now, what is the remainder when 38 is divided by 9? We know the remainder 3 plus 8, that is 1 plus 1. 2 or 38 minus 36 is 2. Remainder is 2. Option A fits in.